Last time you played the Saints, gave up 41, and do you feel like this defense has kind of gotten better since then?
I'd like to think so. We did some good things, the second half of that game. And, we'll see. I really do think we've evolved a little bit as a defense. I think one of the keys is we got our young secondary is in place right now. They've been practicing together for 3 weeks now, and so it's kind of exciting to have that group of young guys out there. And the defensive line has really stepped it up, done some really nice things, and hopefully we can continue that trend.
Seems like this was a big day for Khalil.
Yes, it was good to see him out there. Did a nice job. It was good to see Ryan moving around.
Pretty confident about his chances Thursday.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow morning. Again, and I really do mean it when I tell you guys, when after a guy goes through a pretty heavy workout, you always got to wait till see what happens tomorrow, and we'll see how he is. And that's pretty much, true for Shaq and for Colin Jones.
Khalil returned at a pretty opportune time, Ron.
Yes, and it was one of those things that you kind of hope that, if he wasn't ready next week, that the extra week off would be enough to help him to be ready for this game.
Cam said that Ryan does more for him than any center does for. What does he mean by that? What does Ryan do for Cam that?
Well, yeah, I think part of it is just through the experience. Ryan can help in terms of getting the calls out quicker, helping to ID certain things, and that's all part of what the center has to do in this system. And again, an experienced guy that's been in the system for 6 seasons now, it's very helpful.
You mentioned Sunday backs against the wall. Do you think you have to run the table now?
I think we have to take them one at a time, Scott. I really do. And that would probably entail, as we get to each one, being successful. But right now we just got to win this one, and then we'll go from there. And it's a pretty big task, but the approach has to be one at a time, and we'll see how it goes.
Ron, Trey Boston told me, we've been here before a couple of years ago. I think it was like 3-8-1. Have you talked to your guys about that?
We talked about it, and I think that the biggest thing, more so than anything else, that our guys have to realize is, this really does take that approach, is that you've got to stay focused in on one at a time and what you can accomplish. We've been there, we understand what it takes, but we have to go out and do it now. We really do. That's probably the key. We can't count on other teams faltering. The last time we were in that situation, a couple of teams in our division faltered pretty big. And it could happen again, but you can't count on it. You got to take care of your business.
We walk in there, notice music blaring, all that stuff. Some people would think, 3-6, that they're in a great mood. But Cam says, well, it's not that big a deal as you guys are making it out to be. So
'cause that's who we are. Again, the honest truth is they understand what's at stake. They know what's at stake, and this is them. And you guys have seen them before. And I think at the end of the day, the biggest thing, more than anything else, is we're trying to get them to get their energy level back up. And if that's what it takes, then so be it. But they're focused. They had a good practice today. We've had good sets of meetings yesterday and today. We basically followed the same schedule we did last year for our Thursday night game. And we'll see how that goes.
Mike Tolbert seems to take a big role in that, and he's the DJ. He's the one that keeps everybody loose.
He does.
How nice is it to have a guy in the locker room?
Well, again, that's that veteran leadership that you're always looking for. And again, a guy like him who understands and gets it, that you can't be uptight. You can't be so tense and wound up that you can't focus, that you're so worried about, the next thing going wrong. And I think that's kind of part of what Mike tries to make sure if everybody's loose, and at the same time, we're focusing in.
The mood is kind of a sudden shift from the last month, and kind of an exact 180 actually. So what do you attribute that to specifically? Was there a discussion or? No,
I just think our guys, are finding who they are. Again, one of the things that you always have to go through every year is reestablishing the locker room. This year we lost 6 veteran guys that have been a big part of what we've done the last 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. So I think it's part of it. But I don't see it much different from last month to now. I really don't. They are who they are, and that's probably the best part, is that they're trying to keep true to their personalities.
Cam was in an extremely good mood with us today. I don't know if you watched it, but really fun a lot of times in a lot of ways. What's that say to you when he's that way?
Well, just, it's who he is. you know, and just because he's not fun loving all the time doesn't mean he's not focusing in. I mean, you know, he comes out to practice and you see him and he's really serious, but yet you watch him make his reads, you watch him make his throws. He comes out, he's fun loving, having a great time. You watch him make his reads, you watch him make his throws. I mean, the one thing about Cam you can count on is he's going to show up on Sunday and give you everything he's got. Just show up in practice and give you everything he's got. So I don't make much out of that. You know, it's just him.
The decision to IR Andy Lee.
Well, it's obviously going to be a long-term deal. So we needed the roster spot. You can't hold on to spots, and you know, especially this time of year. And so we made the move.
Did he tear the hamstring?
I just know that the MRI came back, and it was one of those that was enough for Ryan to say that this is a long-term deal.
Sean Payton, he said these are two teams. Obviously, we know each other very well, but we both came off gut-wrenching
Yep.
losses that would make you typically not want to play a game that quickly, just want to get back on the field.
Yep.
What's your thought on that, and what have you seen from the guys, maybe even Monday morning onward, that showed you they just want to get rid of that?
Well, I think just the way the energy level's picking back up as quick as it has. You know, one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to give them an opportunity to make sure they're focusing in and studying. We've tried to put them in position that they can, you know, get their rest, they can hydrate and eat properly, and just put themselves in position to get ready to play on Thursday as quick as possible. And they're talking about the opponent. And you know, they're not talking about what happened the other day, but they really are. They're focusing in on getting ready for New Orleans, and I think that's very important.
Hey, Ron, back on Andy, and I understand that they're completely different injuries, but just in terms of strategy and roster spots, how does that differ from Michael's situation?
Well, because tackles are hard to find. I mean, you know, we brought Michael Pilardi back right away. So they're difficult to find, but we were fortunate enough that we had a punter out there that was waiting. Secondly, you don't want to take a chance on just going into the game with Graham as your punter and kicker, because now if something happens, what do you do? Plus, you know, it's just one of those things that, you know, you have to make that move for any period of time, and plus it's a kicker. I mean, he kicks with that leg. That's the one that he hurt, was his punting leg. So, you know.
Truthfully, I was really asking it more on Michael's standpoint.
From Michael's standpoint, it's just that the tackle position is so hard to find. Right. It really is, and that was really our concern. And again, you know, we're not putting any pressure on Michael to hurry back. We're just in case he's available, because it's really hard to find him. So we just thought we would hold on and see what the doctors have to say.
Is the hope that he still might? You know, you have 7 games left. Is the
Yeah.
hope that,
Oh yeah, and we'll see. I mean, again, it all goes to him. I mean, we've not tried to push him into anything. We've facilitated as much as we can, and we'll continue to do that, because at the end of the day, it really is about his health. And you know, we did the same thing with Luke, and you know, we've done the same thing with several other players.
What's been most difficult when you talked about, you know, like redefining the locker room with some veterans gone early in the season, with, you know, the young secondary trying to catch up, which they've seemed to do now,
Yep.
or, you know, now the other problem of the offensive line with the injuries you've had, taking people out. Just, I'm curious in terms of like managing.
Well, you have
that.
to rebuild that. You have to rebuild that continuity. You know, first off, and then it didn't help that James Bradbury gets hurt, you know, and misses 4 weeks. You know, and it's tough, because Kurt, you know, Coleman has tried to assume a big role. You know, last year we had Roman with the safeties, and we had Charles Tillman with the DBs, with the corners. This year we didn't have that dual. We didn't have 2 guys. We have one guy trying to be the dual guy, and that was tough. It really is. And Kurt's tried to handle it as well as he could. He's tried to be that guy that's been there for everybody. And I think it's at the point now, because there's some continuity back there. You know, that, knock on wood, we've been relatively healthy for the last 3 weeks with that group. That you start to see it start coming around. I think as far as in the locker room, trying to make sure that there is that character, that personality, you know, you have to have guys that are willing to step up, you know, guys that know how to step up, guys that have been there, and we have a number of them. But again, 6 guys, that's an awful lot of guys to lose, and that means 6 young guys are replacing them and trying to find their footing. So it's been tough, but you know, it's not the reason. I mean, we've missed some opportunities. I mean, if you go back and look at it, we've lost 4 games by 3 points or less. you know, and that's a tough pill to swallow for me.
Fan of the Thursday night game throughout the season?
No, I've never been. I really haven't. I mean, to me, you know, I think Rodney Harrison said it best, and you know, there's a lot of it going on. You like it to be special, you really do, and the hard part for it is, you know, like in our situation. I mean, if we were 100% healthy and ready to roll, I'd be a fan of it, but we're not. You know, and you wish you had those 3 extra days to get guys healthy and ready to go. But you know, they're in the same boat as us, so it's not as if the playing field isn't level. I mean, it's all the same. So you do the best with it you can, and just get yourself ready to roll.
To me, it seems like it's a contradiction in terms of from the NFL saying player safety, and then they subject teams to playing twice in 5 days, 3 games in 11 days.
Yeah,
whatever.
well, but let's remember, you know, that it's all agreed upon by the NFL Players Association as well. You know, because it's all part of it, and it's what, you know, what's out there. I mean, it's part of it, and you know, everybody does it. Everybody goes through it, and you just play the best you can.
What would your vote be?
Mine? Well, I don't have a vote, so I don't worry about it.
All right, Coach.
We're good? All right, cool. Thank you, guys. Good to see you guys.